G'day, Clint Adams here, and we are recording episode 3 of The Craft. Today our guest, Mano, is the sales manager here in Adelaide at Ferrari. In this episode we're going to talk about Ray's immigration to Australia, his background in sales, and how he's in the position that he is now. There's hopefully a few tips and tricks in there about some of the things that are important in sales, and some podcasts, and some YouTubes, and I guess some tips and tricks for people that are in luxury sales around how Ray's managed to do what he does and what they could possibly do. So I hope you enjoy this one, and thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
So obviously, as we discussed before, this is The Craft.
Yeah.
So if we can start by getting you to introduce your craft.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we'll talk about this first beer.
Okay.
So what is your craft?
So my name is Mano. I'm Mano. My craft is in sales.
Yep.
I sell luxury cars.
Yep.
Particularly Ferrari at the moment.
Yep.
But I've been in sales. I've been in and out. No, actually in and in sales the whole time.
Yep.
Since I was a little kid.
Yep.
So sales it is.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a salesman in and out.
And is that something that, I guess, as growing up, was that the plan?
No.
No?
In fact, I didn't know what I was going into until I was about maybe 16 or 17 years old. I had no idea what I wanted to get into or what I was interested in.
Yep.
Because I was always the type of person that was out playing. You know,
Yep.
I always had high energy. I was always the type of person that always wanted to go out and play with friends, and rather than sit down and study.
Yep.
Video games were a big thing for me.
Yep.
Sports were a big thing for me. So I think looking back, it was always about the people I was around. I was always happy being around people in good energy.
Was that obviously you mentioned off camera that you were not born in Australia.
Yeah.
Do you think that was because you were, I guess, new to the country and you were trying to build a network of friends, or like you were out like, I want to meet people? And
yeah, correct. So a little bit of history is that I moved to Australia after 1 year of college in Malaysia.
So what is it? College, obviously.
College is like O levels here.
Like reception, like primary school.
No. College is after high school.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you?
So you were born
and bred in Malaysia.
Yep.
High school finished when I was 17.
Which is our year 12. So
correct.
Yep.
We have this system in Malaysia called a pre-university.
Yep.
So it's a pre-U, which is technically like an extra year, but it's not uni yet.
Yep.
So we have that there, which is a matriculation system in where you choose which country you want to go to. You've got courses in America, Australia, anywhere, Russia and stuff.
Is that because it's a common practice for the children of the 80s?
Correct.
Their parents are like, we want to send you to this country because the University of...
Correct.
So it's Harvard or whatever, or Queensland Uni, or...
And back then the belief was most third world country families would want to pursue a higher level of education for their children. So that's why not saying it's right or wrong, but it's actually a goal of third world country family culture and beliefs to expand their children's education and experience.
It's still a focus of that kind of first, or your parents' generation.
Correct.
To ensure that if it's not your generation,
Correct.
your next generation are, I guess, have escaped that.
Correct.
What they believe. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
It might be better now, but I can't compare it now because I haven't been back for more than 13 years now. But that was the belief at the time that I was there, right? So I moved here to be a mechanic. So I started off as in TAFE. I did a TAFE diploma in auto mechanics. So in between, part of the qualification requirements to complete TAFE is that you had to do work placement.
Okay.
So 50% was studying in TAFE, and the other 50 was being a mechanic.
So you've come from Malaysia.
Yeah.
So you did your pre-uni, or pre-college.
Yeah, pre-uni. Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah.
Knew no one.
Yeah, knew no one.
Yep. So your family came.
Yeah?
Yep. So you knew one.
Yeah. No, only me.
Yep.
Yeah. So my parents are also in Malaysia.
Oh no shit! So you came here on your own.
Yeah.
Wow. So they're like, go to uni in Australia.
Correct.
Learn, become a doctor or a lawyer, or
the funny thing is, my parents are all I've come from a big medical background family, right?
Yep.
My mom and dad are doctors. They're retired now. My sister's a speech therapist. My brother's finishing his residency here.
So you're like...
I call myself the car doctor.
I was going to say, like at Christmas, they're like... Yeah,
dinner conversations.
How'd that turn out for you? We must work now. We've got to go save lives.
My food in silence.
You don't talk. You're at the other end. You're at the kids' table.
What do you do? I just sell high-end things.
Yeah, things that you guys are probably going to buy.
Yeah, correct.
So come here, and what did the uni not work out? You went straight into, so you chose to come here.
Correct. So we chose to come here. So I was originally meant to go to the Western Michigan University to study engineering.
No shit.
So I did that program in 12 months. But then we decided subsequently that Australia was a better choice, culturally, lifestyle-wise, to move to compared to America, which was
for you, based on Malaysia and you and your family. And,
correct. And we already had a cousin here, so she was 7 years into Australia already.
Yeah, so deep, like had a network and...
Yeah, correct. And it was more of a comfort thing, and we used to come here for holidays, and we knew Australia.
Is it closer? That's all it is. That's really insensitive. Geographically.
I think America's about 24 hours.
Yeah, so definitely closer for you to get home and parents to come visit. And...
Exactly, it's much easier. Life quality wise as well, we did a bit of research and we understood that Australia, especially Melbourne, was more cultural hub in the Australian land. You get a bit more vast and
was that diverse? Really diverse cultures. Yeah.
So that's part of the reason I came to Australia, and I finished my diploma in auto mechanics. During that time, I had to make money as well because my parents helped me out a little bit. But if I wanted to live comfortably in Australia, I had to make my own money as well on top of studying in TAFE. So I had a few odd jobs. I was a bartender, and I worked as a ballroom waiter as well.
A ballroom waiter.
So when you go to weddings at event halls, and
like nice big 350 seat kind of.
Yeah, correct. So I'm the guy that serves you the wine, either red or white. You know, and I'm the one that tells you. Correct. Hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres. Yeah.
Pronounced correctly.
Yeah, correct.
With a new accent.
Yeah. The Shiraz or Pinot.
Yeah.
Which one do you like?
Yeah.
Isn't that all red? I'm like, no, there's a different thing. So small things like that, and I guess. That was really good for me because it assimilated me into Australian culture as well. It got me to understand a lot of people here and how they work and how they talk and how they mingle.
And you're seeing everyone drunk.
Yeah, correct. And I'm like, wow, I want to be them one day.
I want to be the drunk Aussie.
I want to be sitting down on that table one day.
Before we go too deep, I want to try this because obviously we've got this combination of craft being you in your craft and craft beer. So. Trent, who is one of the most multi-skilled staff we have here, is behind the camera at the moment, but also was the one that went and bought these beers today.
All right.
What was the beer called that you said you...
Mano.
I got some.
Oh, do you?
It's here.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd get some just in case.
You have to try it. If you like your beer, you have to try it.
I wanted to. So Trent was short on time and we go to a place that we have where we get our craft beer. But I found some on the way home.
Yeah.
I stuck it in the freezer because it wasn't in the fridge where I got it.
Yeah.
Stuck it in the freezer because I thought, if Ray wants to have a beer after this, we can have a beer like that. So we try to buy South Australian beers, being that we're supporting South Australian business. And, you know...
Here I am offering you an Italian beer. Yeah, go get the Italian one.
Yeah, but it's we're not like nailed to the wall with it. It's we can try these things. So this is Vale Lagers, obviously from the McLaren Vale. The lager Trent chose because it was similar to the beer that you mentioned. So we'll try this first.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Sorry. So I haven't had a Vale since Vale Ale, which was really
that's good.
It's really sweet, actually.
Yeah, it's sweet.
I imagine you go to a lot of events.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
In sales, obviously, it's something.
Yeah.
So,
events.
Is it always like what are the beers that are obviously they're not serving craft beers at events?
It really depends on the package that the event has as well. Sometimes it's a smaller package, sometimes it's a higher package, and depends. You can go anywhere between Cooper's Pale Ale, or a more Italian associated event would be Peroni.
If you're selling a product that's Italian based, then there might be Italian beers, which is I'm assuming why you've been
something more in line of the event that you're in. But in most circumstances, it's usually the very James Bogues. You know,
like premium, crisp.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might get super dry. Oh no, sorry, not super dry. Maybe Asahi and brands like that.
Quality brands.
Yeah.
Have you had the opportunity to travel a lot through work now?
So my work purely, I'll tell you my travels purely from work itself.
Yep.
My work has taken me to Singapore, Italy, America, Los Angeles and Vegas. Where else is that? Malaysia.
I'm assuming in Malaysia a long time ago. You said you haven't been home for...
Yeah, correct. Yeah, Malaysia a long time ago. What am I saying?
But
Singapore.
So if you go to Malaysia, and obviously Malaysia and Singapore, you can drive now. Well, but if you go to Malaysia now for work, is it that quick that you don't get to see family, or
No, sorry. I was meant to go to Malaysia. I didn't end up going, and they transferred the course to Singapore.
Oh, so you're in Singapore, and you're like, Mom, Dad, I'm coming home, and they're like,
in my head I was like, oh, Malaysia.
How good is this? Ray's coming home, and you're like,
no, I'm actually in Singapore.
Quick note, you will need to transfer.
We did try to meet up in Johor, which is the southernmost town in Malaysia.
So that's the northern border of Singapore, where you cross through the gate.
Yeah.
I've been there. I'm pretty sure I've been to that. I guess that
the
checkpoint.
Yes.
Because when I've been to Singapore a couple of times, and it's been a while since I've been there, like kind of under 10 years. But now we've got my oldest child's 6, so we haven't done anything fun travel-wise for at least 6 years. Sorry, Jack. But I remember going to the border, and they were talking about how a large portion of Malaysian population comes
so they do that daily
into every day.
They do that daily to work.
So there's passport stamping in and out
every day. But sometimes some employers would be able to give you that. There'll be a special passport.
Yeah, that they get a work visa or whatever it is.
Something. So you don't have to keep stamping your passport back and forth.
Yeah, well, you need those 100-page passports every 3 months.
365 stamps in there. Work every day.
Yeah. So obviously, I guess as a 17-year-old, come to Australia, work in mechanics. What was it? The intent to become a mechanic? Like, was that the goal?
Originally, it was. Originally, it was to become a mechanic and open up a workshop in somewhere in this place called Thornbury in Melbourne.
So you wanted to have your own business?
Correct. It was more of an agreement or a conversation that I had with my parents because typically from my background, since everyone's in medicine, my parents caught on early with my attitude and my energy and my personality, and understood that I would not be someone who would be suited to medicine.
So I guess, what was that conversation then?
I was too impatient. I don't have the patience to study.
So you weren't going to go. You weren't going to become a scholar in X, Y, or Z.
No. I'm not an academic.
So what, is it fair to say that they're like, well, if you're going to be a failure, you need to have your own business, or you need to be a successful non-doctor?
Yeah, it's surprising because I always assumed that my parents were like that. Much younger. But the decision for me to come to Australia and do what I like, they always knew I liked cars to some level, right? But not attaching my career to cars. But I think that took me by surprise as well, because they had a chat with me and said, do what you want, do what you like, right? Because if you don't like medicine, you got to go through 10 years of it before you actually get established. So go and do what you like. What do you want to get into? So I said, back then, because I was quite young, I was like, all right, if I like cars, I'm going to go into engineering. Because
then you can design...
you can design cars.
And then you become university educated, car involved.
Correct.
More than just...
Something to do with cars. But then after that, we came to an opportunity of saying, okay, look, you might study your auto mechanics course and do a diploma. And at that time, permanent residency was reliant on skilled labor. So as in the level of education required for your permanent residency meant something. Correct. So you had to choose a diploma that was, or rather than a Cert 4 or... Yes, correct. It had to be diploma level or minimum? A diploma level, okay. Correct, the diploma level. So that helped with the permanent residency as well. So it's more and more like we're trying to find the pieces to mold together the best lifestyle for me overseas. So there you go. Okay, Mum and Dad, Ray, we want you to be happy. But we also think that it's good for you to live in Australia. Correct. Be happy. Correct. And do whatever course is close to that happiness to get your residency. And work towards a good base and a good setup in Australia. So I was very lucky at that point because I already liked cars and I could do something with cars, and that allowed me to obtain my permanent residency at a very quick succession.
And this is like you'd be young, early adult.
Yeah, I would have been here when I was 18 then.
Yep.
Yeah, so I left when I was 17. Yeah, 17, 18.
Yep.
December 17.
Yep.
Moved here. So that was the first stage of my life, right?
Yep.
And when I graduated auto mechanics, and in between finding out what I want to do in the future, I had a good think, and I said, look, maybe I don't want to open a business yet.
Yep.
Because I was still an 18-year-old mechanic graduate.
It's a lot of pressure to put on an 18-year-old, even if you are from a successful background. You're like,
yeah, correct. Even if that factor's out of the way, it's still a lot of work or a lot of pressure for me, especially if I'm not from the country, right?
Yep.
So I decided, okay, let me try engineering. Automotive engineering now.
Yep.
Now, at least I had a path to go towards what type of engineering I want to get into, right? So I said, let me get into automotive engineering. So I enrolled into RMIT. And,
off the back of your diploma?
Correct.
Yep.
Off the back of my diploma in the city. This is where it starts getting funny. This is where life starts getting really, really interesting for me. 6 months into the engineering degree, I kept failing every course. Every course required calculus, thermodynamics.
Because you couldn't do it, or because you weren't doing it?
I couldn't see how do I put it? I couldn't see where it was getting used. For example...
Yeah, so it's like that, I guess, really early level maths where they're like, why do we need to know Pythagoras?
Yeah, correct.
They're like, what do you mean? You just need to learn it.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, but I can't see where
I couldn't see where the application was.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that was where I was starting to get very self-aware of what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are. Yep. And I went to see some counselling, some career counselling in uni itself, and that counsellor probably saved my life. My life isn't my career life.
Yeah.
Because she was like, look, based on, I think we had a few conversations back and forth, and based on what I was telling her, she said that I would be more suitable for a business course, but a very broad and open business course, rather than something that's catered
to let you kind of sharpen that point.
Point later on.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I wrote a very long email to my parents.
Oh shit.
Yeah, one of those emails, because I felt a lot of guilt, right? Because my parents, of course, have tried to support me financially and bring me up and build a future. Yep. And uni fees, of course, they were supporting me because I couldn't afford uni fees here.
Can you get HECS as a non-resident?
No,
so you have to pay anyway.
Citizen.
Yeah.
So I wrote a very long email saying that, look, I think I want to change my career into the business field. Yeah. I will still graduate the same time if I was in engineering, so that's not...
You still get your certificate, Mum and Dad.
Yeah, exactly. And they were okay. They were happy with it. They sent me an email saying, do whatever makes you happy, which is really good. And then I jumped into business. Now, business course, killed it. Absolutely
because you could see the real life...
Because I could see the real life applications with it. I went into business management, majoring in entrepreneurship. I'm still blown away that entrepreneurship's now taught. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll come back to that later. I'll tell you a few things that I've learned and not learned.
Let's try this one.
Okay.
I'm conscious.
So it's on a switch up.
Hang on. What's going on?
It's a shapeshifter.
What do we got?
So just swap around the shape.
That one and that one. All right. We are re-curated by our beer curator.
I think you're color coding it slowly.
Yeah, that was the idea. Yeah. All right, Ray. Yeah. What do you think? So this is the shapeshifter session ale.
Let me remember what the other one tastes like. Okay, cool. Got it.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's a whole nother place.
It's got a little bit of zing to it now.
Yeah. I can't even put that into words. I don't have the vocab.
It's almost got a bitter aftertaste.
It is bitter.
Yeah.
Is that what? Which is really interesting because it's a session ale. Yeah. So a session ale being something that they create something that you could just sit there and drink. 10 in a session. And then the session ale. Now,
so it's like
this is probably sessionable for someone who enjoys that.
Yeah. The bitter.
That
who
flavour.
enjoys bitterness.
Yeah. And they're out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
People.
That's really different. I don't think you have to be a bitter person to enjoy a bitter beer. That's different. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, interesting.
We're at uni.
Yes.
Going into business and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, amazing. The good thing about that, I would say, being successful in business does not require a uni degree.
Yep, I don't have one.
Yeah, it just requires a lot of human skills, people skills.
Yep.
Which I think is the first thing.
Yep.
But I think my circumstance with me being from overseas, this helped me. This gave me a good induction into the Australian business world because everything was Australian based. So things like commercial law, international business regulations in Australia against
what you grew up knowing.
Correct. So that was really good. So I did really well there. And during uni, of course, I needed to find part-time jobs as well. So I started becoming I continued that ballroom waitering, and also I became a bartender. And on top of that, I was at David Jones as a sales consultant as well for men's suiting and sportscraft and the men's wear.
Starting to
Correct.
to stand in the room with the suits and the nice wines and
because the ballroom waitressing already got
getting exposed to high end
luxury goods already. And then I was also for a short stint on my final year at uni a nightclub promoter. So I was promoted.
Hang on. We got Reese who was kind of we're starting to stitch some stuff together here.
So
I'm like the only one that didn't do it.
Oh really?
Well, I just find it funny. Like we've had 3 guests and 2 of them have at some point in their like kind of early adulthood they're like so we were doing nightclub stuff.
Because it is a matter of just getting people excited enough to come to your club. Right? And if you could do that, you can enjoy the atmosphere of a nightclub anyway. So I was like, as a uni student, in my final year of uni, I was like, this is the best thing ever. Right? I'm making money, getting free entry into clubs, you know, and my friends get a free drink inside as well. This is the best thing ever. Right?
Yeah, you're the hero. On both sides.
Correct.
The club's happy, the friends are happy.
Yeah, correct. And then on top of that, I opened up my own event management company called Bespoke Entertainment. A small, I was basically the connect. So if anyone wanted to host an event, I was always the connect for the venue, AV hire, speakers.
Because you knew those people already.
Because I knew the contacts. But then that eventually died off once I started working and graduated uni. This is where it starts getting even more interesting. I never want to do anything with cars then already, so I gave up on the mentality.
So we're still at a point where I guess nightclub and event management.
Correct.
Uni graduate.
Yes.
But not cars.
Not cars, because I jumped out of cars after automotive engineering. After realizing that I don't want to be an engineer. So I got the cars side of my life out already.
You kind of switched that off.
Yeah, correct. I switched it off. I never thought of that as being my career again. And I applied for. Once I graduated, I applied for the normal corporate jobs, like graduate positions at KPMG, ANZ.
The stuff you're meant to do.
Correct. All the big banks, all the big consulting firms. And they take ages to get back to you. But again, I'm restless. I'm not patient enough to wait, you know? And I'm not patient enough to do 30-page interview questions before you actually go for the real.
So you got those questions, you're like...
I was like, and then you had so many different questions about personality and then the market and all that, and I was like, nah, I mean, you got to see me for who I am rather than what I know at that current time.
Which is now entrepreneurship.
Yes.
But
correct. So whilst I was waiting for one of the big jobs to get back to me, I applied for a car sales position. Because I'm like, okay, there we go again, right? I'm like, I like cars. Now I have a business degree. How about I become a car salesman for a while?
Makes sense.
Cars, business.
I like people. I talk to people.
And then if you calculate it properly, it is your own business within a business.
Because you are commission-based.
You're commission-based, right? And the more money you make, the more money you make for the company as well.
So you're like a franchise.
Correct.
A human franchise or however you want to...
So from day one, I always saw myself as Ray's Motors inside of whatever dealership I was working in. As in that
dialogue, straight up. Like day one, Ray's Motors. That's so cool.
Because I came off the back of opening my own nightclub.
So you were a business entrepreneur anyway.
Correct.
Okay.
So I started at Volkswagen in Melbourne as a sales cadet in Epping. Amazing place to work with. Really good coaching staff there. I was really commend them for me having the good groundwork in sales. I had a good assistant manager. His name is Vinny. Had a really good assistant manager there. Shout out to Vinny. He took me under his wing and he went like amazing. Like he was just amazing with teaching me the basics and the ropes and negotiation.
Was Vinny learnt from practice
He was experienced.
Yeah, so he didn't learn from the books. Like he was a street sales guy.
Street smart guy.
Yep.
Really nice guy, really humble, and he's actually the, I think he's the general sales manager there now.
Yep.
Yeah, so well done on him.
Yep.
He went to 2 different jobs or he changed up a little bit and went back there, so it's good because he's from that area.
But he spread his wings a bit.
Correct, he spread his wings, and sometimes, the grass is not always green on the other side. So, and that happened, and then I got an opportunity at Volvo.
Yep.
At that time. Volvo was a good brand to sell as well, because you're selling a lot of safety to families. So you saw some values. So the value proposition there was selling safety to families, right? Which is amazing. That I had a 2.5-year stint there, and then moved to the big German supercar company, Porsche. So that's Porsche. I was in Porsche. Did about 1.5 years there. And then joined Ferrari after.
So these jumps, like, and I don't understand it, and it might be something you can't answer, but are car companies looking? Is there much poaching of sales staff going on in that market, or is it job gets advertised, you go for it, and then you get interviewed?
It's a mixture.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of.
So it's the same as every other market.
Yeah, correct. It's a mixture of the acknowledgement of good staff from other companies, and it's also depending if it's sales or marketing or whatever, right? But then it's also because our industry is performance based. We think of ourselves as athletes or someone as a sports person.
Okay, like an AFL player getting traded from a team to a team.
But doesn't necessarily mean he scored the most goals.
Yep.
It's just who's the most valuable at that
in
point.
that team.
In that team at that point.
Okay.
Because in most circumstances, of course, naturally the highest goal scorer will be the most valuable. But not necessarily.
Depending and there's obviously, but I guess if you take the sport analogy to a deeper level, there's defensive players as well.
Correct, exactly.
So
correct.
So they don't have goal scoring.
Defensive players don't get the spotlight as much.
No.
So there's a difference, right? Yeah. So that's why I'm not saying just because you sold the most cars doesn't mean you're going to get up there. So it's an incorporation of different values that your value proposition is a bit different than just selling cars.
Especially being young.
Correct.
Like, I remember talking to someone in real estate when I was probably 24, and I was like, I think I could sell houses. Yeah. And he's like, call me when you're 28. Yeah. And that was it.
Yeah, right.
There was no cadetship or anything. It was just, I don't want to talk to you. You're immature. No matter how much you aren't, you are. Yeah. So it's interesting to hear.
I have to disagree with that, though.
I didn't agree with it, mate. I was spewing. I was like, I can do this. Yeah. Thankfully, he said no, and I now do what I do, and I've got my own business. If I'd gone down that path, there's a good likelihood I'd have 5 real estate agents now. Like, I'd have places everywhere. But let's try this.
Yeah, perfect.
This is going to be really interesting.
What's this one?
Mango Berliner Weiss.
Yeah, wow.
Weisser? Weisser? Okay, you can pronounce it. You've sold Porsches.
Berliner Weisser. There you go. Was that a good one? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is from Clare Valley, I'm guessing, from the CVBC. They made a red ale. Oh, man, I love that. Yeah. That was a few. Okay, so bit of sour, bit of fruit, bit of aroma. Tell me what you think, Ray.
All right. This is it?
This is it.
Okay.
Oh, God.
No, I like this. There's a bit of lemon in there.
Yeah, it's very citrusy. It's kind of like, I'm trying to taste the mango.
Yeah, it tastes. Oh, sorry, wrong fruit.
It's all right. There's no rules with this, Ray. Yeah. It's what you taste. Are you a spirit drinker? A wine drinker?
It really depends on the mood and the time as well. During winter, I'll go more towards whiskey. Yep. Summertime is vodka lime sodas and gin and tonic. Yep. I try to
white spirits.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to the hangovers the next day, and because of my work commitment.
Would you say you're 30?
32.
Should we get hangovers? You're starting to get hangovers.
I'm starting to get bad ones now.
Dude, wait till you're 37, and I'm sure there's people watching that are in their 40s that are like you are. Yeah. You have no idea.
Yeah. And I think I always have to stay fresh in my mind because
you're on the next day.
Business is 24/7. There's no shop is closed, or the showroom's closed. No one's going to buy a car. If someone calls and they want to buy a car, you don't go, but you have to be still sharp. You can't do it because it's so. Sales is based so much on the way the salesperson portrays himself to be. If that's energy or the way he talks or his personality as well. All that encapsulates into one entity, right?
So from I guess from a sales standpoint, like, you didn't learn sales, you learned business.
Yeah.
At uni, like, so you're not a tertiary educated salesperson, and I don't think anyone is.
No. Yeah.
Was it as simple as sales was learnt with Vinny and some others? Like, is it?
I don't think it was, because I was a very nervous person when I started in sales. I was very nervous because I was very, very. The culture that I've been brought up with was to never talk about money.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it was never. Don't ask someone how much money they have. Don't ask someone how much they can afford and how much they can't afford.
Yep.
And I had to throw all that away if I wanted to be successful in sales.
Yep.
I needed to have a little bit of a thick skin and ask the confrontational questions, right? And growing up with a very humble, as in personality upbringing, we always apologize, always call your elders Mr. and Mrs. rather than or auntie and uncle rather than their first names.
Yep.
So all these were cultural difficulties that I had to overcome coming to Australia. So even work colleagues who were older than me, much older than me, I had a difficulty calling them by their name.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because I was born in '82, so we're 6 years apart.
Yeah.
And my mum, I grew up predominantly with my mum. My parents got divorced when I was young, and she always made me say Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah.
And then I think Australia's probably just a decade ahead of, I guess, where you learnt that.
Yeah, probably.
Because my mum was saying it, and then my friends' parents were like, no, you know, call me this. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. And I just avoid, what I did in those circumstances, just avoid talking to them. Because
so you had
don't feel right.
thin skin and like respect issues. Like you're too respectful, so you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, it was just really awkward for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, even if I could, it was just like, I couldn't carry on the conversation because the dynamics have changed.
It's interesting to think of, like, the cultural challenges of coming from another country with different culture. Like, it's not like you came from England.
Yeah, correct.
And then you've come to then...
I would say Asian to Western culture.
Yeah. And you've come here and gone, okay, well, I've assimilated. I've got friends. I've done club management, but I've still got these ingrained.
Yeah, it's always there.
Yeah. Now I need to go sell luxury items.
Correct.
You know, high ticket things.
Yeah.
And then you go to these sales. I don't know, the Grant Cardone 10x.
Yeah.
Close. Always be closing. Ask the right questions. Lead them in this direction. Sign the contract. And you're like, this is not anywhere near part of the culture that I grew up
with.
Correct. So if you were a car salesperson or a luxury product salesperson. In Malaysia.
Yeah.
What's different? Like, have you looked at that? Like, is it just a different process?
I think, in general, with sales, whatever product you're selling, the process is always going to be the same.
Yeah.
The profile changes depending on the industry you're in, the level of money you're dealing with, and the clientele, and also the where you're selling, the demographic of the area or the geographical location of the area. So the process, the main basic process of selling will always be that. You know, there's a set process of selling cars and selling houses and selling whatever, selling beer even. There's always a set established process, but the profile slightly changes. The same word cues, test drives, closing the deal, negotiation, changeover figures, all those things change a little bit. Culturally, the main aspects of the business will always be the same.
So you mentioned before, like, you know, in Malaysia, you don't talk about money, that kind of thing. So that wouldn't be part of the sales process as early, maybe, or...
I think it's because I grew up in...
So you don't know.
Correct, I don't know.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But that's also the family that I've grown up in.
So that could not just be a Malaysian thing, that's your parents' thing.
It is partially, but there's also a known belief that you don't talk about money.
Because you're also, you mentioned earlier when we were off camera that you're Malaysian born, but not...
I'm South Indian by heritage.
Indian background.
Yeah, correct. Indian background,
Are they parallelish? The religions or the cultural beliefs and...
So Malaysia's got three different cultures, three different main races, you've got the Malays, who are the majority, who take up the majority of the population there. Then you've got the Chinese, who are... So the Malays are predominantly Muslim. You've got the Chinese, who are predominantly Buddhist or Christian. And you have the Indians, who are Hindu or Christian. So three main races and three main religions that are part of that country. So we've got public holidays for Eid, which is the...
for everything.
For the Muslim celebration of the year. We've got public holidays for Christmas, public holidays for Chinese New Year, public holidays for Diwali, which is a Hindu equivalent to Christmas.
Yep.
And you've got a few more. So
that's interesting. So the Malaysian
multicultural
government has gone, well, we've got large percentages of our population are now external to our original population.
Yeah.
We should add some holidays for them.
Yeah, correct.
Let's do it. That's really inclusive.
So it's a very multicultural place.
Yeah.
I think that's where I had a little bit of a leg up as well, because I knew how to deal with Malays, Southeast Asians. I knew how to deal with different Indians, North Indians, South Indians. I knew how to deal with Chinese.
Because there's no segregation from an education standpoint.
Correct.
Like
No,
you still go to school with each other.
Together. Yeah.
Which language?
English.
So predominantly English.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
okay.
English, yeah. Bahasa is like the same language as Indonesian.
Yep.
It's a slight difference.
Yep. Like dialect.
Dialect used to be different. Small words are different, but most of the schools that we went to were English-speaking schools anyway. Yeah.
So would you describe yourself as English as the first language?
It is. We grew up speaking English in the household. So you can speak English, you can speak Malay, which means I can also speak Indonesian because it's the same. I can speak Tamil, which is South Indian, a little bit. I'm losing it now, but if I go back...
I get that. Yeah, I get that.
So
you could hit Bali, which I'm going to take a punt that you're not a Kuta man.
No.
And you could go converse and you'd be fine.
No. Easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that probably also gave me that cultural know-how to broaden the scope of people that I can deal with in Australia.
Yeah.
Because when you get different walks of life coming in and you can deal in sales, you get very different people, right?
Yeah.
So I think the benefit for me is that I could assimilate with each and every culture that was coming towards me or talking to me or getting to know me. Because even when I was in Malaysia for that 1 year after high school and I was in the pre-university, I had a lot of Arab friends as well.
Yep.
But African Arab friends.
Yep.
So there you go, you're adding a little bit more African in there and Arab as well.
This is a session pale. Have you had some?
Yeah, sorry.
Is it more gentle than this? Not as bitter?
Yeah, so this is closer to the shapeshifter without the bitterness aftertaste.
Yeah, so that is sessionable.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous. I could go for a run and drink this after a run as my hydration. I'm trying to think of a West End draft, kind of a commonly produced beer that this is like.
Yeah, okay.
Like a Heineken, but just not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or Carlsberg or something, but yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think I can do that. I can drink that.
That's still my favourite, the mango one.
You like that?
Yeah, I like.
Well, we'll have to. You can take that. You can take that can with you because I won't drink it. So, I guess coming to Australia and moving into sales, did you find like being, I guess, an immigrant challenging? Like, was there race issues of like, I don't want to talk to that guy, I want to talk to that guy?
Earlier there was.
Yep.
Sorry, you're talking about in sales, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, university, and then...
You always do face a little bit of racism everywhere you go, regardless of which country you go from.
Yep.
If you're not from there, you will face racism.
Yep.
The same way, if a Caucasian goes to Malaysia, you'll get racism.
Yep.
It's just
you might not know.
You might not know because they're speaking a different language, but it's everywhere, right? You can't really avoid it. It's getting better now.
Yep.
From what I faced 10 years ago or 12 years ago to now, it's almost, like it's almost zero.
Yep.
You don't get it anymore, actually, in fact. But in the industry itself, not necessarily. I think people do tend to have a little bit of an element of surprise.
When you come out and you know your shit and you speak English and they're like...
Yeah, correct, yeah. Yeah, correct, yeah. But that's younger though, but I think... my accent itself is not really Australian, so I think they can already pick it a little bit.
Yeah.
But not anymore. I don't think we get that. I would say 6-7 years ago, there was still some instances of racism in the sales industry, but not anymore.
Do you think that's because, as a community, we've become more educated and more accepting? It's not because you've changed where you're sitting.
No, yeah, correct. I think
Australia is getting better.
Yeah, Australia is getting better in terms of that as well. I think the whole world in general is getting better towards...
More of like a global city, without sounding too tacky.
And with the internet boom as well, everyone knows everything about everyone. Yeah. Right? Every different culture. Everyone.
Well, I think there was probably too much like preconceived ideas about a Malaysian or an Indian, and you're like,
you never knew about.
All this race are arrogant, and all this race are this, and all which is not
because
true.
They were not they weren't accessible.
No access. Yeah.
They had no access to learning about those races or those cultures, right? And also that's before the social media is what it is now.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think social media has got the world just so much smaller.
Yeah.
That in an instant, in a few seconds, you can learn about someone so quickly.
Or something.
Correct.
I want to dive into the social media, but I just thought of one question while we were talking about, I guess, your background and the diversity. Based on, I guess, all that experience, I'm assuming there's opportunities for you to work in places like Dubai, where there's, I guess, luxury brands are more prevalent and there's more accessible cash to be doing that kind of thing. Is that something that's on the? Or do you love it here?
I like Melbourne. And I like Adelaide.
You miss Melbourne?
I do miss it a little bit, but
you don't want to admit it.
Cut
that bit out.
I love Adelaide. Where are the cameras?
I am Ray, and I love Adelaide.
I was told to love Adelaide.
Do you like it here?
Send help.
Do you like it here?
I like it.
Yeah.
Adelaide's awesome.
Yeah.
Adelaide was a bit of a struggle to get into.
From a pace?
Yeah, correct. The energy levels are much more subdued.
Yeah. You've got to go find that.
Correct.
That energy. It's here.
Yeah, or keep that energy within you. Or just maintain that energy. It's funny enough because that's what I was reflecting on when I was on holidays, when I went back. I came in winter.
Yeah. And so Adelaide stops for 3 months.
Without knowing anyone.
Stops.
Yeah. I only knew my work colleagues and also that I was just starting to get to know them.
Yeah.
Before that, I've never been to Adelaide.
Yeah.
I've never seen Adelaide.
Yeah.
I came in and I'm living in Glenelg Beach, by the beach.
Oh,
now,
God. In winter. So Glenelg, I often think about those poor shops that have a 12-month lease and make money 8 months a year.
Yeah.
That you're there. So you
I'm
just
there giving them money in winter time. I'm like, here you go.
Where are you from, mate?
Yeah.
Where are you from, mate?
What are you doing here in Adelaide?
Yeah.
You know?
Selling cars. Yeah. Selling things.
Yeah.
So that was just intriguing because I think if you're young, and I don't know what if you've got a partner or if you
I'm single. Yeah. That's what made it harder.
So you could go to Dubai or you could go to whatever or you could go whatever.
So that was part of the reason why I moved here.
Yep.
Because the job scope required me that. Yeah. It said, look, we need someone who can hit the ground running.
Yep.
Who can build a business.
Move straight away.
Who can move straight away. I moved in a week and a half.
So they just went, we need to grow this portion of the market.
Yeah. Correct.
They're like, Ray is definitely not the most qualified, but he's got no kids.
Yeah, correct.
So we're sending him over.
Exactly. Don't worry about the qualification. Just get him out there.
Yeah, that's it. He's the best of the bunch.
Yeah, correct. Or the easiest to move of the bunch.
He's inexpensive. Stick him in a car and send him. So you mentioned, we talked a little bit before, actually, let's get these other beers. This here is the Hang Loose Juice,
all right.
Which is my
Hang Loose
favourite beer at the moment. And as you can see, remember I talked about it before being like an orange juice?
Yeah. Look at that. It's really murky, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just going to drink the whole thing because...
Is this your favourite?
This, at the moment, is my favourite beer. I move around a bit with beers. Yeah. I like really sweet, strong, hoppy beers. This is like a dessert for me.
Yeah. What's that fruit?
It's strong. I think it's like an orange juice almost, but...
It's like bitter orange.
Yeah, like a blood orange.
Blood orange,
here we go. This righteous blood orange NEPA or NEIPA has late addition hops resulting in a brew that tastes like a glass of freshly squeezed juice bursting with tropical notes, which is what I'm guessing you just tasted. I love it.
You're right, it's a good dessert one.
Yeah. That'd be so funny. Hey, I could just see you at this fine restaurant. You're like, you guys got any Hang Loose juice?
Hang Loose.
I'm looking for a dessert beer.
Excuse me, Hang Loose, please. What? That's Senora, what do you say?
You have it.
Hang Loose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have some tequila with it. So we talked a little bit about social media before. Now, obviously, Inika is the reason that we now know each other. Yes. So hi to Inika, and I guarantee you she'll watch this in full because she's actually one of the only people I've had on 2 podcasts, and she knows you and she knows me, and without her this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, thanks Inika.
She said, ask Ray about social media, ask Ray about social media. So how important do you think social media is in sales now?
Yeah.
And I guess tell us a bit about the challenges of that and like, especially in luxury brands, you have to be sensitive to that. And
correct.
Can you be you still?
Yeah. So the way social media works in sales, especially in my industry, I believe that it's the icing on the cake. The cake still has to be made well, right? So even if you have awesome icing, the cake tastes bad, no one's going to eat it.
Yep.
So the base work, as in the base, like what we discussed, the process of selling, the groundwork, the prospecting, the relationships that you build, all that has to be done first. And as a supplement, do social media.
Yep.
Because there's no point being fancy on social media, but not have the work ethic or the reputation of a hard worker or someone. You got to live up to your hype, basically.
Yep.
Don't believe your hype, but live up. You have to try to live up to your social media hype. That's what I believe. So as fancy as you are on social media, you got to live up to that in real life. Because the worst thing you want to do is just portray to be this person in this fancy person that's always having fun in social media, but one slip up in your work and normal life, in your real life, and that perception can be ruined forever.
Yeah.
Because the industry that I'm in is a lot of flexing. There's a lot of flexing.
Yes.
A lot of fancy cars and fine areas, like fine dining and champagne and fancy people around and this and that. So you really, really need to make sure that your work backs whatever you show on social media. To a point that instead of flexing, you've turned it to just documenting now.
Almost reverse flexing.
Correct, because that is my job. I'm just fortunate enough that the attention and the current space is based on that flex at the moment.
I did say that to Inika. I was like, if you had a luxury brand as your fodder for your social media, that's definitely a lot easier.
Correct.
Without being, I guess, disrespectful to your personal brand and how you've grown. I said to Inika, I'd love to let Ray see how Ray could grow a sprinkler shop. You know, that's what we are ultimately, or a dirt shop, which is my other business. We sell loam and mulches and dirt. Because it ain't sexy. Do you know what I mean? But I think obviously off camera, I think it would be great to say, hey, you know, because our socials, it's hard. It's not hard. It's me on Instagram, and Trent's doing the best he can with the I guess the time that he has available. You think about, he's producing videos, you know, written word, all this other stuff. I would like to talk to you more about that. I do agree, and I was very interested to ask and hear that it's the icing on the cake, because it's if you can flex as exactly what you said, and people will see straight through it.
Correct.
Because especially in luxury markets, you're dealing with some highly educated people and people with
business,
and emotionally intelligent people.
Correct.
So they'll see straight through it if it's disingenuous. Is that the right word?
Yeah, correct. Disingenuous. And if you think if people can see through you, they won't. Because let's just say the product that I'm selling is highly emotional. It's purely based on emotions. It's not practical.
Because no one needs a luxury car.
Correct.
People want a luxury car.
Everyone wants one, and it's very emotional, right? And because it's emotional, it's very easy to ruin that emotion. Very easy. And it's so subjective. So
it's also, you could easily manipulate that emotion, which is wrong.
Correct. You don't want to manipulate it. So you want to be real, you want to be sincere, you want to facilitate the sale of your product to the best capacity you can. And the best way and the easiest way to do that, if you've done all the work at the groundwork, is social media. Because you're just portraying what the best environment for that brand to sit in is in the social platform.
Well, a lot of times the people that you've met or that you've spoken to will go do some research later.
Correct.
And if they get a couple of exposures to that brand through that your social, they're like, this guy actually does. The same with us. Like, we've got a lot of content out. So even you might have just gone, who is this guy like?
Correct.
And you Google them and you're like, okay, seems legit, done a bit. You know,
exactly.
And it just backs up. It's that, like you said, the icing.
And it's also a touch point to the customers. So, for example, if I put a post up or if I put a story up, I look at the data. I look at the amount of people that look at you, who looks at you, what time they look at you, that you can't really gauge. But if you look at it today, in the morning.
Like I posted up some stuff before about the fact that I'm going to do a podcast with someone who's in luxury brands. And has anyone got any questions? And I didn't get enough time to quickly check that that data, but I was like, okay, there'll be some data
in there,
later. This idiot. I'm saying this idiot. It's not fair. D'Artagnan, a good friend of mine, he wrote, "Oh my God, hi Clint Adams. I've seen you online."
Famous now.
No, that's just him. I was hoping there would be some substantial questions.
That will negate the purpose for you to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, how's it going?"
Because they saw it.
Correct. Just calling to see how are you. People can see through that. Say, why? You know, if you want, go out, have a coffee, go out for lunch, get to know them. Not just call for the sake of calling.
Is that obviously?
It's like a touch point that you make with someone, like a very casual touch point.
The fact that they saw your social.
And you're always in there. You know, you're always there. Your presence is wide.
That's really interesting. I never thought about that like that. Like, we pop an Instagram story up that's genuine, but also delivering something that we want someone to know.
Correct.
About like I actually thought to do it today. It's something that I had some intel come through about an opportunity yesterday, and I was like, you know, if we do a LinkedIn video about this as a generic video and do paid targeting to the people I know that fit into that demographic, they'll see this video.
Correct.
And they'll be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's so random. Yeah. We were just thinking about getting a tender for that. And it's the same thing. Because you're just like, well, I'm producing content. That person saw it. It's the right time for them to see it.
Correct.
They don't need a phone call.
Yeah.
On that, are there, I guess, are those sales techniques that you learn, like follow up within this time? And do you have to be more gentle with that when you're dealing with high-end sales?
Actually, no.
The opposite.
Complete opposite.
So your customer base are like,
because
call me tomorrow.
Correct.
They're like...
Yeah, correct. I have this thing, not the customers, I do that.
Yeah.
I have this thing called a 24-hour rayside assistance.
Rayside assistance.
Not roadside assistance. So I'm on my phone the whole time.
Yeah.
So you can get me anytime.
And I figured, I don't know if it's ringable now, but if you don't answer, you will.
Correct. And I always respond. If I don't answer a phone call, I always auto respond. So I'm always accessible on my phone. And I think that was a good strength for me, but also the environment that I'm in. I'm single and my dad
owns a business and he pushed that on me. He's like, you ring them back every day.
Yeah.
If they ring you on a Sunday and they're your customer, you ring them back or you answer.
Yeah, correct. Or you answer. I think with the market that I'm in, you can't really push too much because what are you pushing?
Yeah.
It's an emotional product. You keep pushing, they get angry.
They get emotional, the wrong emotion,
and you're out.
Yeah.
But they ring, you answer. Because they'll ring when they're high on emotion, right? So you got customers who are very eager to know about things, very restless if they want to find an outcome of something. But you gotta cater to them. But because what's your value, right? The value that your value proposition is always being available to them at any time because it's such an emotional purchase.
And the money's not the issue.
Correct. You got to make sure that they're happy. Because happiness is an emotion. You keep your customers happy, they'll buy the car. Maybe not now, maybe later. But
is there a long sales cycle on luxury products like that? Like, is it you could take 12 months to sell a luxury product, or
I've sold
the higher the ticket?
Yeah, so I've sold a car to someone recently.
It's a few motorcyclists live in the area.
I sold a car to someone recently that I spoke to 2.5 years ago when I was working with Porsche. And she never bought a car.
But she stayed in touch with you.
So I stayed in touch with her. I had Instagram. She had me on Instagram. So I was always there. My name was always around her. And when she was ready, she ended up buying a Ferrari.
It reminds me very much of the Ryan Serhant, who's who, I don't know if you know who that is. So you know,
$1 million thing.
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad you know.
Yeah.
He is so on.
Yeah.
Like 10 years, 8 years, always follow up. And like the whole meet 5 new people a day, I love it. Like, and it's interesting that I'm in the sales that I'm in because my market's very much repeat business. And yours might be. But I'm talking every day. Right? So we have the same people come in every day and buy stuff and go put it in the ground and then come back the next day and do it. We don't have those like high ticket individual sales, but I have companies that spend the same amount as that ticket. So your single invoice is my year per customer. So it's just a different relationship. And I wish there was this kind of sliding door moment where I actually went the other way and sold New York apartments or high-end cars and just saw if I could do it. You know,
just to try it
it's
out.
just a different game.
Yeah, correct. It's just a different game. And it's not for everyone. It is not for everyone, but you have to be very self-aware as well. Because you may only see you always only see the fancy things. No one's going to show you about their failures.
Well, it's like the gamblers. No one talks to you about their losses, do they?
Yeah, you only see the fancy bits. You only see the deals closed, you know, the fancy apartment, the fancy event.
The pop of the cork in that champagne bottle.
But no one understands that at 2 a.m. if a customer WhatsApps you from Dubai asking for a certain option on a car or wanting to do a deal on something, and you've gone to the loo and come back and you see a message. You
missed it.
No, you see a message on WhatsApp, you reply.
Yeah.
And you continue the conversation.
I think that's ingrained in a human being, though. Like, I think there's always two sides to anything. There's people that look at their phone and go, it's Sunday, this is my time.
Correct.
And those people live that life. And I'm on the same page as you. There's other people that go,
it's an opportunity.
I need to respond to this right now. This person needs me. If it was me, I would want a response.
Exactly.
So I'm going to give them a response because it costs me nothing. It's 10 seconds of my time. And it becomes more challenging. I'm married now with 3 kids. And it becomes harder because I'm trying to be the best version of myself from a dad, a husband, a business owner, a mentor. You could just
Correct. For
I'm
me, I
sending a
can.
message back.
Yeah, that's
you
my
know?
advantage.
Whereas
yeah.
my daughter, who's 3, is looking at me like, Daddy,
Talk to me.
or like I was home for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's not every day.
Yeah.
But they're like, can we do this? Can we do that? I'm like,
Yeah.
I really have to go. And
Yeah.
my son started crying. He's like, no, go to work. You don't have that.
Yeah, I don't
and I
have
hope
that.
you do
Yeah.
because it's unbelievable.
Yeah, correct.
But-
That my idea is to just build a good base well enough that when it's time to do those things, I can.
Yeah. That's so smart.
But it's just a process. I might find it, I might never find it, but as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing now,
if you're looking for it, you won't find it.
yeah, and being aware that it will come.
Yeah.
If you have an intention, I obviously want to be married. And
You've got a young face. You'll be fine.
yeah,
You can.
I'll
You
probably
can.
last till 45 before it all gets
It all
rotten.
turns to
It
shit, and
just
you're
turns
just
to
like,
shit. Yeah.
Well, at least I had fun.
Yeah, sorry.
So-
I didn't get introduced to this.
That's
yet.
all right. So this
Pirate
is
life.
Pirate Life.
Yeah.
I guess Little Creatures, which is a brewery in Perth,
Yes.
was where I kind of fell in love with craft beer.
Yeah.
Pirate Life was what solidified my love of
Yeah,
craft
right,
beer.
okay.
Now I've had this, but I don't remember having it.
Yeah.
That Pirate Life do a pale ale, which was the first one I fell in
Yeah,
love with,
yeah, yeah.
about a 5.4%. I don't even know what this is, but Trent's obviously chosen it, unfazed by the haze.
Trent's being mysterious.
Trent is very mysterious.
Yeah.
New Holland IPA. So it's an
Yeah.
Indian pale ale.
Yeah.
New Holland. I'm going to move this so
Yeah.
that you can still be measured with your consumption.
All right, perfect.
So this is the last beer.
Okay. That's-
I haven't got too much more I wanted to talk
No,
about.
that's fine.
I was really interested to know, like, if you weren't in luxury sales, what would you be doing?
Yeah,
And I think I know the answer
Yeah.
because of what you started doing.
Yeah.
But is it that simple?
Oh, as a mechanic.
Like, would you be a mechanic? Like, would you have opened your shop? Like, raise
No. I was
24/7?
reflecting. So this year was the only year, 2019 to 2020, that 2 weeks I had off
Yeah.
was probably the best time for me to reflect on my past. I never really had time to stop.
So 2 weeks in 10 years.
No, not
No.
10 years, 6 years since I
6
started
years, but
working.
it's still epic.
Yeah.
That's such
was
an
an
immigrant
actual-
style, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
you just work.
Yeah, you just work. I did have short breaks here and there, but this one I think mentally was really good in a way that it gave me time to reflect on everything, right?
Yep.
Because Adelaide was a challenge to come to socially as well, so it made me reflect everything. I truly, genuinely enjoy the process of business,
Yep.
which is sales.
Yep.
There's no business without sales.
I love that because
Yeah.
so many, like, especially in a business like here, like
Yeah.
the purchasing officers think if it wasn't for us, you'd be screwed.
Yeah.
And the marketing, like, without us, you're like, nah.
Yeah.
It is sales.
It's sales.
I'm a salesperson deep down.
Correct.
It is sales.
Yeah.
Marketing has its
It
place.
is now sales and marketing are together
Yeah.
to some point, but you still need that personality and that sales skill
Yeah.
to build a
To
relationship.
facilitate the income generation
Correct.
into the bank account. Because without
Marketing
cash,
will get
nothing
you
else.
the sale.
Yeah.
Sales will actually keep.
Someone has to facilitate
The
it, though.
business, yeah,
You know,
correct.
marketing gets someone to come to the building,
Yes.
but then what?
Yeah, the transaction has to happen through the salesperson.
And that's that fuzzy line.
Correct.
Like, does it happen?
Yeah.
Or do they go,
Yeah, exactly. I'm interested.
the
but-
poster looked good, but the experience wasn't there.
Correct.
Yeah.
The event was awesome, but
Yeah.
I've been accessible to the product.
Yeah.
It's good. It's been marketed well.
Yeah.
But do I really want to buy it? So that extra 10%, that's
Yeah.
where the salesperson comes in.
So, if not a mechanic,
Yeah.
is it sales for life now? Like, are you?
Because I've been
You
focused.
love it.
I think eventually I'll go into the business owner line.
Yep.
I always had an entrepreneurial
Yeah.
mindset, but at the time, for now, where I am,
Yep.
I can't complain. I'm the best point of my
You
career
love it?
at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm working for the most powerful brand in the world.
Yep.
If you Google it, you'll know.
Yep.
But yeah, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing, and the opportunity to come to not Australia, Adelaide,
Yep.
from Melbourne, to be given a shot to assist the team in building a brand new
Yep.
business from scratch or from a takeover of an
Yeah, yeah.
acquisition. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a very small team. We've got
Do you have a long leash? Like, are they kind of letting you do your thing?
to some level,
Yep.
but we are confined by manufacturers and corporate guidelines as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, we have our
But you still need
creative
to do it,
ideas.
yeah.
Ultimately, the
Events and
Yeah,
Yeah.
There are always guidelines. It always has to go to reporting to the
Yeah.
manufacturers.
I think it
and
has
stuff.
to.
It has to because you keep that identity.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, it just
well, it just
free for all.
becomes that's right. Which for me is fine
Yeah,
because it's still a sole trader. But you're
Yeah.
talking global brand.
correct. You're
You know.
representing the brand everywhere
Yeah.
you go.
Yep.
but it's that little attention to detail, the small creative things that you do that spark people's interest. Like, oh, what's that? Oh, wait, I've never seen that anywhere in the world before.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I think social media comes into play, because the way you interact with social media is going to be your own very individualistic way.
Yep.
It's very rare that you see two individuals market the same way on social media, because it's purely based on your personality.
Because it's art.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's art. It's how creative you are.
Yeah.
So I think I picked on really well. I'm a movie buff. I love movies. So, but when I watch movies, I look into the cinema. I can never pronounce this word.
Cinematography?
Yeah, that one. You said that.
And I say it like a slurred Australian German bogan, but cinematography?
Yeah. The cinema stuff.
Yeah, cinema stuff.
So
that's
like,
right.
I'm always interested in the way Michael Bay makes his movies, and then you've got people like you got Michael Bay, you got J.J. Abrams. It's all different types of direction. Christopher Nolan. So that's why Instagram,
sorry, it's flew into my head.
Especially with stories,
this is Australia,
enables you to direct.
You're directing your own story.
A little story, right? And that's what got my interest. And I think you have to have that knack to be good at it, but you have to also be aware if you're not good at it. So focus your energy on something you're good at in sales. So you might be really good at cold calls. I'm horrible with cold calls. Like I'm good through practice now.
I love them.
Yeah, I'm good through practice now, but I know in my head I never loved them.
So what's your strength? Like email or?
I think it's a mixture of everything.
Like handling incoming traffic?
My biggest strength is the ability to build a relationship real quick.
So rapport.
Yeah, rapport building.
We talked about this the other day. I believe I'm good at rapport, and that's what I think the truly genuine salespeople build rapport quickly. We talked about this before we started filming.
We won't get the sale as quick.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we play the long game, right? You play eventually the sale will come. Just trust the process and trust what you're doing. Yeah. It'll come.
And if it doesn't matter. Yeah. You know, because I think if you tie too much to that result,
correct.
It especially, and obviously, like I've said before, we're not dealing with the same brands. Yeah. But if you tie too much to the result, people see through it. Yeah. And your client basically just going to be like, you rang me too much. Yeah. No. No. Like, but I really need to sell this thing. Yeah. Well, I don't really care. Yeah, correct. Like, it's not
no entitlement in sales, right?
Yeah. No. Did you try this?
No, not yet. Very piratey. Yeah.
Oh man, I love that. It's so hot. It's just hops. Are you a podcast listener?
Yeah.
A reader?
I do read. I read in my uphill phase in sales. I did a lot of reading. Yep. I watch a lot of YouTube. I'm not that much of a reader. I force myself to read some sales books.
How deep in YouTube are you? Like you subscribing?
YouTube. YouTube.
Who would be your top 3 YouTube subscriptions?
It used to be Gary Vaynerchuk on my early years.
My main man.
Yeah, but now I can understand that he's repeating his stuff.
You don't need to watch Gary Vee anymore.
Correct.
I get it.
You don't need to anymore.
See the shoes, the shirts, you can't see it. That behind that shirt.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So that's.
You got the.
I had dinner with Gary Vee.
Oh, did you?
In Brisbane.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's where I met Tyson. So Tyson's a nutritionist, and he's building a massive business, and he's actually a Vayner mentor. So he's with Vayner, but I get it because I can't watch Gary anymore because it's done. Yeah. Which is funny because I say that, but I still do watch it.
You do because you didn't miss his voice. That's it.
Well, you know what?
It's true though. You just missed that.
What's that?
Energy.
So Gary Vee. I have Gary Vee playing at home if I'm looking after my kids. Yeah. So I'll have him just on YouTube, and the kids are just sitting there going, Dad, can you turn this off? Yeah. And my son's like, do we have to watch Gary Vee? I'm like, listen to him. Yeah. It's important. This is all good stuff. Yeah. So Gary Vee early days, and because it's hard. Because where do you go from Gary Vee?
Yeah, but what I do is I watch athletes then.
No shit.
Yeah. Ronaldo, LeBron. NBA.
As in, do they have like podcasts, or you just watch them training?
How they train, their commitment, their diet, interviews with them, what they did when they won championships, what they did when they lost championships. Yep. I've always loved that athletic mentality because this is technically sales is a sport, right? The better you perform, the bigger teams hire you.
You just don't have to have the athletic body, unfortunately.
Yeah, correct. But you just have to have the athletic mouth and the brain.
Blows me away. Yeah. So Trent and I had lunch yesterday with a guy who owns a business in South Australia. Yeah. And we got chatting, and we've got along really well. He's actually not the next guest on this, but the next guest afterwards. Yeah. And South Australian, born and bred, bodybuilder on and off. Yep. Really successful business in a niche market. They they do post, so there's a combination between collecting money from businesses and sending it to the bank on behalf of the business, or collecting the post from a post office box and bringing it to your door.
Yeah, right.
So that last mile of post. Yeah. And yet he said, I'm watching. Well, I tried to book the podcast, and he goes, look, I've got Super Bowl on the 3rd, so we can do it on the 4th or thereabouts. And I'm like, oh, fucking Super Bowl. He's like, it's not about watching Super Bowl. I like to watch the best of the best in the best.
Correct.
So he watches NBA finals, Super Bowl finals, World Cup soccer, whatever it is. And it's interesting to hear that tie, because you're like, I like to study sports people for that same reason. And there's this interesting tie there, which is, I think that's really cool.
Because even for example, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, that's right.
With NFL, you've got Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady's I think he's in his 40s. He's in his 40s. He's still winning Super Bowl.
Married unbelievably.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's vegan. I think that's the key.
He's not.
Vegetarian?
He's not vegan. He's got a very weird diet.
Yeah.
Not weird, but I think I'm starting to lean into it now because I'm starting to understand it, because it's all about preventing injury. Yeah. Right? And his main goal is to prevent injury. Yeah. Because he doesn't have to do much, right?
No, he just has to survive that week and then...
Correct. So his main goal was to prevent injury. And his commitment until this date is insane. Yeah. Right? But I think as you grow older, you learn to find that balance as well. You learn to find that you can back off a little bit and then still cater to your family or your friends, so a bit more personal life. But you've built that strong base that your business or your athletic performance still goes through.
Mine's about energy management now.
Yeah.
I'm 37, had I've drank and ate badly for a long time.
Okay. Yeah.
For me to maintain the energy that I need to do the things that I want to do, it's about diet. So for this whole year I've been predominantly vegetarian. There's no meat. That's why I asked you what your dietary was, because I'm actually more conscious of it now. Okay. Because there's more veganism and more vegetarianism.
Right. People are just becoming
and not race related.
Yeah.
Purely like Trent and I had lunch yesterday and we both had vegetarian food. Yeah, it's fine. And the dude's like, I'm having chicken. I'm like, I don't mind. But he was probably just surprised that I'm just like, I'm a vegetarian. Well, I'm not, but I am at the moment. Yeah. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
So if not Gary Vee, Sports Stars, Ryan Serhant, you're watching a bit of that?
$1 Million Listing.
I love that, man.
I learned so much through $1 Million Listing. So what I do, because when I learn, I always learn what's one step up from me, and then I'll look at how I can bring that next level of sales into what I'm doing.
So you raise the bar for your existing...
For my existing, correct. So regardless of what I'm doing, I always look at one step up.
What's one step up now?
A different industry, completely different industry.
So higher docket average.
Correct.
More complicated sales maybe process, real estate, whatever it is, or luxury yachts, or whatever it might be.
Even looking at Wall Street people, how they close deals and how they sell,
or business acquisitions,
high level stock. Lawyers, how they close big corporate deals with, how they negotiate big corporate deals. All these things are absorbed. So I even go down to watching a lot of business TV shows like Billions and
it's so
Succession
funny.
Is amazing.
Yeah, Billions was the last. I had to stop.
Yeah, Suits was good.
Dude,
Suits was good, really good. Yeah,
we just became best friends.
Yeah,
I had to stop.
Yeah,
you know how you said when you moved here you didn't want to buy a PlayStation for that same reason. Yeah. I hit Suits pretty hard. Yeah, Billions and then Axelrod.
Bobby Axelrod.
What's that one?
Billions. That's Billions.
Sorry. Yeah. And then Ballers. So Billions and Ballers.
Yeah, Ballers was really good.
I stopped watching Billions, and we talked about this in the last podcast when the Russian dude came in, and I was like, oh, this... Because I got emotional about it. I'm like,
John Malkovich.
I'm like, he's going to hurt him. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
And then, was it Reese? I think he's like, you have to watch it. It's fine. You have to watch it.
It's amazing.
But it was just chewing up so much of my time.
The good thing about that was, like, even with Ballers was really good because it showed you so much struggle. It only showed you a little bit of fancy and fun. But the majority of the whole...
They're working.
Yeah, they're working and they're struggling.
And the whole The Rock might go. Dwayne Johnson goes out, drinks. Yeah, got to be up the next day.
Yeah, you got to be up. It's up to you, right?
You know.
Yeah, of course. I think we're at that level where we're mature enough to understand what's media and what's real. But there's still a lot of elements of reality.
That's probably more Billions with Wags, where you just get a nurse to walk into your room at 5 a.m. and just mainline you a drip, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. So I think it's just always absorbing the business aspect of a lot of things that you do, even with interactions with people. So I've always very passionate about the business side. So that's I don't really read a lot now. But YouTube-wise, you got Gary Vaynerchuk, you got Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
Do you watch a bit of his stuff?
I watch a bit of podcast. I mean, I just put it on and then I just leave it. You know? You learn so much there.
So you might spend a week listening to a Joe Rogan being if you're driving 20 minutes here and there.
But I might go through a Joe Rogan phase, and then I might go through a Gary Vaynerchuk phase, and then sometimes I'll go into a Kevin Hart phase, in fact, So
I'm just coming out of cold as balls phase.
Yeah,
right.
I'm
because there's the sports. Well, so you've got your sports stars, which you love, and Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
and it's 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so you just throw it
That's
on.
all it is.
Yeah, and currently when I'm walking, because I've started walking at night, and I used to run a bit, and I'm a bit heavy to run at the moment, but listening to Rich Roll, who's a vegan ultra marathon athlete.
Yeah, okay.
But he was a lawyer and an alcoholic.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So he's pushing close to 500 podcasts. Of substance, people that what did I say? Share that one with Edward Norton. With Edward Norton, who's just brought out a new film, and it was the most articulate and intelligent podcast, and they talked about world affairs and all this. It was just really. Have you listened to it?
No.
Come on, Trent. So
Trent's lacking.
I don't want to carry on too much. I guess if people are keen to find out a bit more about you, is Instagram the place to be?
Instagram's the best one.
Renegade.
Yeah, Renegade.
Yeah.
You understood that?
I got it.
Some people have to be like, okay, you know why I put that name?
Yeah, I think I said I was talking with Matt about it. He's like, he's trying to be Renegade. I'm like, dude, if you say it, you make it bad.
Yeah.
If you don't say it, everyone knows.
I wanted to change it back to Ray Mano, just Ray Mano, right? It's still available. Yeah, I think so.
Well, I would lock that in before this goes live.
Yeah, correct.
And just have it sitting there and use it if you need to.
Sitting there. But then I was like, everyone's like, nah, just keep it at Renegade. It's fine.
I think it's really important to be you.
Yeah.
That's it's such a Gary Vee cliche, but just do you Renegade's Renegade. Yeah. There's no negative connotation.
Renegade has been there since I was 11 years old. You had
Instagram at 11?
No. Oh. That was my nickname at Need for Speed. So there was a body kit on a car that you had to put on, and it had the Renegade body kit. Yeah. I was like, hey, that's kind of like my name. If I just put an A in front of it, Renegade, and then my first email was renegade@msn.com.
I was waiting for a Hotmail address.
Yeah, and that's it. It's stuck since then, and I'm like, nah, I can't change it now. I've gone too deep now. If I change it, it's like gone. Renegade's gone. Right? Like,
so you have to have it.
Gotta have it in there.
I really struggled with because Clint Adams isn't. It's not a common name.
Yeah, okay.
But it exists as a .com. Uh-huh. I recently bought clint.com.au.
Yeah, right.
So
okay.
I've got that.
Yeah.
And so all my handles were very Clint because I didn't want to be like the official Clint Adams or it's Clint Adams, and I kind of went down there. And I definitely don't love
the real Clint Adams.
Yeah. And I don't love very Clint. Yeah. But it's now what it is. Yeah. And it just has to be.
Yeah. It's an identity.
Well, it's a brand, and
if you think about it, Google.
What does it mean? Yeah, and I think if my brand can become strong enough to supersede the fact that I don't like it,
correct.
I'll like it.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much for coming in, Ray.
Problem.
It was
My
such
pleasure.
a pleasure talking
pleasure.
to you. I think we could talk for hours, but I don't want to drag this on too long, so we'll leave it at that. And
Thank
if people want
to having me.
Check you out,
Great.
they can check you out on Instagram.
Instagram at Renegade, or just search for Ray Mano. Yeah. Then I'll be in there.
And it's RAE for anyone watching at home.
LinkedIn.
But yeah, Trent will put it here on the table.
Yeah.
Trent, I want you to put it right there on the table.
Perfect. Streamline.
I really needed that, man.